So we are Team 5. I'm Brittany Walsh.
I'm Angela.
I'm Jenna.
I'm Adam.
And our lesson we decided to do on exploring perimeter and area of rectangles. And our grade, like our target grade, is elementary 3 to 5. This is more of like an introductory lesson to developing like further understanding in the later grades. So that's why we said 3 to 5. And our subject is obviously math. And our key goal that we wanted students to have was understanding of how to find the perimeter and area of rectangles using different manipulatives and visual representations like the apps on the iPad. Just because hands-on, I think learning is very beneficial for students and it helps them understand better. And our essential question was, do rectangles with the same perimeter have the same area? And another one, given a perimeter, how can you maximize the area of a rectangle? And those questions we just thought would get students thinking about the lesson. Our standards we found under the National Council of Teachers in Mathematics. And under geometry, one standard was build and draw geometric objects. And then another was use geometric models to solve problems in other areas of mathematics, such as number and measurement. And then some standards also fell under measurement, which was explore what happens to measurements of a two-dimensional shape, such as its perimeter and area, when the shape is changed in some way.
Again, and the materials needed is the chart worksheet, which the students will be working on during the lesson. And then the technology that you'll need is iPads, the overhead projector, and then the two apps, which is the GeoBoard app and the FLX Shapes app. And then when they're using technology, the students will be exploring creating shapes using the GeoBoard app as an introduction, and then they'll be exploring and creating rectangles and finding the perimeters and areas of those shapes using the GeoBoard app. And then they'll be using the other app, the FLX Shapes app, to check to see if their findings were right. And then students at the elementary grade level learn about shapes and their properties, performing manipulations using the concepts of perimeter and area of rectangles converts to a deeper understanding of more complex shapes and their properties. The students will be at different levels of recalling concepts, so this activity should help make the concepts more concrete. And then when you start the lesson, you can begin the lesson by asking the students questions to help see what they already know, and then you can begin a discussion about the length, width, perimeter, and area of a rectangle. So like some questions that you can ask is how do we describe differences among rectangles, and like a question about what features of a rectangle are important.
So I guess at that time you probably want to introduce the GeoBoard app that you're going to use to explore. They use GeoBoards in a lot of different, there we go. So GeoBoard is a manipulative that you use on a hard-shaped form sometimes too, where you have pegs and rubber bands to work with. What's nice with this app is that you don't have to worry about kids flinging rubber bands around at each other. You don't have to worry about sometimes the rubber bands don't stretch enough to get the right shape that you're looking for. So this is kind of a nice app for that reason. You have the smaller one to work with. I think for this, we're probably going to work with the larger one. I can show them how to you just swipe across to switch to that one. So then to use it, you grab one of your rubber bands and you put it on your pegs. If you want to move where one of your vertexes or vertices are, you just grab the circle that's on the peg and move it around like that. So that's kind of nice to do. And then if you want to grab a corner or grab a side and put it onto another vertex, you can do that by grabbing off of the vertex. So I think you probably want to start maybe a little discussion about, how do we find the perimeter, or how do we make a rectangle if we're given a certain perimeter? What do we consider perimeter when you're working with this app? So you can clear it by hitting the arrows button right over in the bottom corner, the circular arrows, and that'll remove the bands for you. So to start off with, maybe ask, work on how do we create a rectangle that has a perimeter of 12, say. So we put our rubber band on. My fingers are too fat. So then we can go ahead and show them that to find the perimeter, you count the number of lines that are in between each peg. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we made that a little big. We got to adjust it a little bit. There we go. So that should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that would be a rectangle with perimeter 12. Then to describe area, you can grab another rubber band and show them here that each square like that would be considered 1. So how many squares do we have inside of there to get the area? So the area would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if they need to use the rubber bands on there, they can to make it easier for them to count. Otherwise, some of them might be able to grasp the concept that that they can count them based on the pegs and being able to visualize that area. So from there, then you take the worksheet and have them maybe work in pairs or work by themselves. I guess it depends on your class and what you feel comfortable with in that. But work on seeing and exploring what the perimeters would be based on given one side length. You can go from there. Once they get that sheet filled in, then I would have them, because they shouldn't, at this point, they should have been explained like what area is, what perimeter is, but this would be an introductory lesson on finding the formulas for it. Eventually you get to that point at this grade level. So I don't know if, some of them might be able to just do the length times the width to find the area, but from that point, I would turn it over to a different app where that actually shows the area or gives you the area based on the dimensions for them to check their answers on that.
So that app is called FLX Shapes, and you can kind of see they can mess around here and get, the size of the rectangle they're looking at, and then if you look up on top, it'll give the area and also the diagonal, which we really don't need right now. But it'll give them the area, so then they can check their answers on their worksheet as well. And then if you want to go more in depth, you can change, because right now we just have 0 decimals, but you can then change your precision to go 1 decimal, 2 decimals, however accurate you want them to be. So the higher they go, they can also see that as well. And you can also do fun things with this too, like you can change your scale to make them bigger, or you can change your units if you want to do a different unit too, to show kids the different units. I thought this was great because then they can sit here and kind of play and just see, oh hey, if I move this even like that much, that's going to change that area how much. So the kids are exploring the different areas and seeing, even if it has the same perimeter, that area is going to change. So I thought it was a great way for kids to kind of explore that. And then also, they then can use this in the other app and, like Adam said, explore and find those formulas and, for those higher kids who want to take things even further.
I guess one thing I forgot to mention about that GeoBoard app too is you can use that in conjunction again with the Flex Shapes app. You can have them make different shapes besides just rectangles, of course. You can have them make triangles and or all kinds of different strange shaped figures and have them maybe estimate and try and find areas of those. And some of this kind of stuff you'll probably need to have some concepts with the Pythagorean theorem to be able to figure them out. But you can have them kind of estimate, and then if you are doing regular shapes, like I said with the triangle, it's nice that you can use that other app and check their answers once they do kind of estimate the areas with these shapes. So they're kind of a nice pair of apps that work really well together.
Yeah, I forgot to show you. You can change your shape on Flex Shapes. Over here you can do parallelograms, circles, ovals, diamonds, triangles, any kind of triangle. So kids can explore that too as well.
Any questions? Okay, great. Thank you.